this video, we're going to talk about the biggest mistake people make when their goal is to get lean. If you have a goal to get to single-digit body fat, to really get ripped, get shredded, right, to reveal your abs, to improve your body composition, I believe this is the biggest mistake you can make. Why do I believe this mistake to be the biggest? Because I've made it before, and people I work with, we're all human, and everybody deals with the struggle of being hungry, with cravings on a diet. Whatever your diet you choose to do, you will inevitably deal with this difficulty, with this challenge, right? And so this mistake is made by almost everybody who sets this goal for themselves. Of course, I'm going to talk about what this mistake is, and I'm going to tell you why it's the biggest mistake, and then I'm going to tell you what to do instead and how to avoid this mistake so that you achieve your goal successfully. All right, so I'm not going to bullshit you. This mistake, everybody knows it. The chances are 99.9% that you made this mistake. It's a cheat day. And here's why it's the biggest mistake you can make when your goal is to get lean. Because it breaks your momentum. Fat loss is a momentum game, you know, and when you choose this goal for yourself, you come up with the plan, right? And a dietary strategy must be a part of your plan, because otherwise you're not gonna achieve this goal, because everybody knows that it's impossible to out-train a bad diet. So I don't care how hard you train, if your diet is not on point, you're not gonna get shredded, you're not gonna get lean. So with that being said, you know, there's many dietary approaches you can choose in order to get there. You know, some people do get there successfully doing keto and low carb, which in my opinion is not the best way to do it. But I'm not here to talk about what's the best strategy to get there. I'm here to talk about this particular mistake and how to avoid it. So let's get into it, right? Like I already said, it fucks your momentum, you know, when you, let's say you've been cutting for a couple of weeks and you're already multiple pounds down and you're seeing the progress, your training is on point, your sleep on point, the diet that you've been doing is working, you're enjoying it, everything is going smooth. But then inevitably, everybody who is dieting will experience diet fatigue. And at some point in your diet, you will deal with more hunger and more cravings. And that can lead to craving a cheat day. You know, this thought will slip in your mind saying that, you know, maybe today I should just take a day off my diet and just kind of allow myself to eat whatever I want. This is a bad idea, because when you are in the middle of a cut and your diet fatigue raises up, right? You experience more of it. You experience more hunger, more cravings. You have a bigger appetite. And if you just allow yourself, I'm gonna enjoy whatever I want as much as I want without accounting for it, that's a really bad idea, because chances are you're gonna overeat on, you know, fatty foods, really dense calorie foods, and put yourself into a major calorie surplus, which will bounce up the scale like crazy the next day. Another thing, like I said, it's all about momentum, right? After that cheat day, you might be tempted to do another cheat day. So let's say we'll look at it at your week, right? And Monday through Friday, you've been perfect, right? You're hitting your calories, everything's good, protein's there, you're enjoying some carbs, and maybe you're finishing your day with the dessert like I like to do it. 5 days in a row, Monday through Friday, you hit your goal, you hit your targets perfectly, right? Your calories are on point, your workouts are on point, your sleep is on point, everything's on point, you're killing it. You can grade those days as A's, right? Let's say if you graded A, B, C, D, right? And F is complete failure, right? So let's look at cheat day as F. You failed it. You got a 0. You didn't count your calories. You fucking overate on pizza and ice cream and all kinds of fatty foods, whatever they might be, right? And I'm not trying to demonize foods here. I'm just trying to speak facts, right? You know, everybody knows that pizza, for example, is very calorically dense, and a lot of those calories are coming from fat. So let's say Monday through Friday you got A's on your diet and you're on point, you're moving towards your goal. And then Saturday you decide to do a cheat day and that fucks your momentum, and you on Sunday you wake up and you're like, you know, I already did that cheat day yesterday, might as well wrap up the weekend, enjoy myself for the whole weekend, and I'll get back to my plan on Monday, right? Now you're really preventing yourself from achieving that goal, you know, because this is going to set you back big time. It's going to be very hard for you to regain the momentum. Even if on Monday you do get back on track, it might take you a couple weeks to see the scale back where it was right before that cheat day on Saturday. You see what I'm saying? And let's be real. So let's talk in terms of grades, right? Metaphorically. Let's say you got A's on your tests Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday you got F, you got 0, right? Well, 5 A's and 2 F's, your grade ends up being a D. You know, so how can you expect yourself to achieve an A result or even B result if you get, if you know, if you get 5 A's and then 2 failures? You can't do it like that. Like I already said, it's gonna mess with your momentum, it's gonna mess with you mentally. It's a bad thing to do, man. It's a bad thing to do, and you don't wanna put yourself into that position because you're just gonna feel guilty and shameful, and then you're gonna feel like a failure. Another big probability that what you're gonna do after those cheat days is go extra restrictive. You might be like, yo, I enjoyed these cheat days, but now I really wanna get back into to that weight where I was right before these cheat days, so I'm gonna go even more aggressive. So you're gonna restrict even more, and then it's gonna put you into this restrict binge cycle, man. This is very, very common. I've made this mistake. My clients, people I've worked with, made this mistake. And this is why I'm making this video, because it's a common thing. It's a common mistake that people are making. Cheat day is not a smart strategy to include in your diet when your goal is to really get shredded. Now, how do you avoid it? Let's tackle that. Now I'm gonna give you practical tips and steps. How do you overcome those cravings? How do you overcome the hunger? How do you enjoy and allow yourself maybe to have more food on a given day, but without jeopardizing yourself, without jeopardizing your goal? You know what I mean? So here's what you should do instead. On that given day, when that thought slips into your mind that, yo, maybe I should do a cheat day, instead of doing the cheat day, allow yourself a refeed day. The difference between cheat day and refeed day is that on cheat day, you don't account for the foods that you eat. You just allow yourself to eat whatever you want as much as you want. And refeed day is a strategic way to approach that day when you maybe you have an event or somebody's birthday or whatever, and you allow yourself, you permit yourself to enjoy more food, but you account for it. Okay, so you're still gonna enjoy the foods that you've been doing, which I recommend. Whatever diet you've been doing, that should be enjoyable. If your diet is not enjoyable on your way to achieve the goal to get shredded, you're gonna fail without a doubt. So number one thing you must check right there is that the diet that you chose for you to achieve that goal in the first place is enjoyable, you know? So what you're gonna do on that refeed day is you're gonna increase your calories strategically and allow yourself to have maybe 5 or 6 or even 800 calories more. You can have plenty of more food without doing the damage, you know? It is better to get, for those days, for that refeed day, you can still allow yourself to get more food, more carbs, maybe have a dessert, whatever, but you can get a B minus for that day. And that's not gonna jeopardize your goal in the long term. You see what I'm saying here? Instead of getting an F, a failure, a 0, you can get a B minus. Maybe you can score 80% out of 100. And that's still good. That's better than 0. Let's agree on that. So you're going to allow yourself to have a refeed day, and you will have more calories. Maybe it's 5 or 6 or 7 or 800 calories of whatever those foods may be. And I recommend that those foods are coming from protein and carbs. The reason why I want you to keep those fats in check and avoid having extra calories from fats, because number one, fat has no volume, okay? It's not gonna satiate you more. And number two, fats are stored as fat. You know, your body doesn't need to do anything to convert fat into fat. If you overeat calories and those calories come from fat, your body stores them as fat right away. If you overeat calories, but they're coming from protein, your body's gonna first seek how it can use those calories, those amino acids, right? Because that's what protein is. The protein is a building block for your body. So your body's gonna first seek places where it can put it towards, you know, rebuilding, recovering. Maybe it's muscle, maybe it's whatever other tissue in your body, right? So that's not a bad thing if you overeat protein. If you overeat calories from carbs, your body's not gonna store them as fats right away either. Your body's gonna store them in the form of glycogen in your muscles, in your liver, and then you can use that glycogen in the form of energy to fuel your life, to have more energy to do whatever that is you do, to have better workouts, to have more pump when you're working out, feel better, feel fuller. For that reason, if you are gonna do this, I recommend you do a refeed and you increase your calories strategically, account for it, and all of those calories I recommend should come from protein and carbs. Next thing, man, don't dwell on it. Don't overthink it. Allow yourself more food, put that fuel in your gas tank, and then use it, you know? Say to yourself, okay, today, maybe this weekend, I enjoyed extra 600 calories per day, you know, but I'm gonna crush my workouts now, you know, I'm gonna really attack and try to hit PRs in the gym, you know. Let it be a positive thing. Do not make it a negative thing, you know, especially because you accounted for it. There's nothing to be feeling guilty or shameful about, right? You've been strategic, you've been accountable with yourself, you know. So now you put that extra fuel in your gas tank, go ahead and use it. Move, go for a walk, you know, take your family, go for a hike, you know. When you're in the gym, push harder, you know, try to get PRs, like I said. It's not a bad thing. If you're strategically doing that refeed, it can only fuel you and play a positive role. So remember about that. And with the cheat day, it's not gonna be the same, I promise you. If you just overeat on bullshit and fatty foods, it's just gonna leave you feel bloated and maybe even more fatigued. I've been there myself, and normally if I allow myself to have a cheat day and I don't account for it, next day I come to the gym and I feel like shit, especially with body weight movements, especially with conditioning. I just feel slower, I just feel sluggish. And again, mentally I feel, you know, I don't feel right because I know I didn't stick to my plan. And finally, the last thing that I want to leave you with is remember those days when you are dealing with cravings, when you feel tempted to have a cheat day. This is your test, man. This is your chance to prove to yourself that you are who you say you are, and to prove to yourself how serious you are about achieving that goal. So this is how I want you to internally process it. Talk to yourself in this way. Hey, listen, I set this goal for myself. I knew that this wasn't going to be easy. If this was easy, everybody would be ripped. Everybody would be shredded. Everybody would be a beast athlete, right? So I knew this goal would come with its challenges. So this is your challenge. This is your test. This is your chance to prove it to yourself that you are worthy of achieving that goal. This is your chance to reaffirm to yourself that you are who you say you are and you have what it takes to achieve that goal. If you put it like that, I guarantee you, you will find, you will dig inside of there, right? You will find that willpower, you will find that strength, and you will push through it. You will go about it smart, and that will lead to you achieving your goal. So yeah, man, with all of that being said, I just like to say this quote that I repeat to myself often is adversity reveals a man to himself. Adversity could be big scale or small scale, you know, and when you're dieting and you experience cravings and hunger, I would say that's a small scale adversity. A lot of people don't take it seriously and they just give in and they just say, ah, fuck it, you know, we have one life, so might as well enjoy it. Well, yeah, you do have one life, and why be average? Why be mediocre? Why be like everybody else? Why eat this garbage and prevent yourself from being in incredible shape? Think about it this way, you know? Again, this is a test, and you can overcome it if you decide to. How you go about it, how you choose to go through that test is up to you. It's your choice. It is not what you go through, it's how you go through it that defines what kind of man you are. So if you remember that, if you internally process this test in this fashion, and you calm yourself down and not make an emotional decision, and you choose to go about it like this, strategically, smart, intelligent, calm, collected, without any emotions, without giving in to your cravings and decide your cravings what to do for you. You're like, okay, this is how I feel. What's the best way for me to go about it so that I do not set myself back? This is what you can do, and you will end up achieving your goal. I promise you that. I hope this video was valuable for you, and if it was, I would appreciate if you hit the like button, and if you enjoy this type of content, subscribe to my channel. If you want to get a hold of me, it's easy to do. You can find me on Instagram at shark.strong. I thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.